Hey everybody, welcome to the Adventist Hoops podcast. Today, historic day. Never had more than one person on, and today we have the Essex boys of Union College, Blake and Braden Essex. Welcome to the Adventist Hoops podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So, I gotta confess, my history with these guys goes back all the way to Colorado, Littleton, Seventh-day Adventist Church gym, playing pickup basketball. Started, I moved there like 2010, and so I started playing with your dad and his group of guys, and you guys were just kids. I don't know how old you would have been in 2010, but every week, Blake and Braden were there, just watching, in between games, shooting. And so I have to ask you, was there any choice? Were you going to love basketball no matter what? With your dad, Todd, was he just going to like force it? Or was that something you guys wanted to come with him every Sunday? Because you were there every week.
I mean, I wouldn't say we were forced to love it, but we were just exposed to it so much that like the love kind of just grew. And then being so young and watching all of you adults play, it was just like we wanted to do that. So we always wanted to be around it. So
yeah, I mean, it was just a good time. Just every week it was something we look forward to, and it was just, I guess, in our family, just basketball from the beginning. So we just grew up with it.
And your dad played at Union College back in the day. Legend at Union College. Now you guys are there, which is a special family story as well. Do you think that those runs that you would come to as a kid, did they influence you at all? Because you didn't necessarily play ever until maybe, Blake, I think I remember playing with you once, maybe when you got into like 8th grade or something. As you were getting bigger, you hopped in if we needed a 10th. But usually you guys were just there watching. I mean, did that influence you at all?
yeah, I mean, I would say like playing in that definitely helped me like when I was starting to learn how to play in middle school and high school, just how to process the game. Just being able to watch all you guys that have played at a high level. Most everybody there has played in college. So just being able to see how you guys processed it and the kind of off-ball movement and screens and the passing and stuff, that just helped my basketball mind like come to life, and it's influenced me to this day of how I play. So.
And you guys went to Mile High Academy. I got my Mile High Academy Mustang sweatshirt on there. I coached a couple of years while I lived there in Denver. And I didn't get to coach you guys, though, because I ended up moving away shortly before you got into middle school. Or no, you were in middle school, Blake, I believe. Yeah. You guys scrimmaged our JV. We did not have the same level of skill at the JV level or experience. And I wasn't keeping track. I know you guys were keeping track. I'm sure it was, let's call it a tie that we had. But you guys had a great kind of generation of players that came up through middle school there at Mile High Academy. And then in high school, was that was one of your years the first year that Mile High was eligible to play in the state playoffs?
Yeah, so my freshman year, we weren't part of a league yet. So we didn't have any playoffs. We just went to Union tournament. And then my sophomore year, we joined 5280. So we were able to play for state. And then sophomore, junior, and senior, we made state playoffs each year and made the elite or Final Four my junior year before COVID shut us down. So yeah.
Wow. So Blake, you did not have a regular senior season?
No, senior year, we actually only played like 12 games in comparison to around 25, which we would have. And we only played the second half of the year. So
I feel so bad for all of you seniors. I mean, I was here in Sacramento at Sacramento Academy as that was happening, and we had, kind of same situation as you. You guys great players, and then your senior season kind of gets robbed from you. So that is really that's probably from a basketball perspective, one of the worst things that came out of COVID is those seniors. They just missed out on that. So, what was it like for that school to enter into the state playoffs and have success? I mean, what was that experience like?
Well, I mean, it was great. Like just being able to play for something more is always nice. Just being able to compete. Like before joining the playoffs, our end of the year was Union tournament, which is a nice way to end it. But after that, just being able to come back and compete for that state championship, I think that was a big deal. And the fact that we were competitive like all 3 years that I was there it was great.
What was that experience like, Braden, playing in a playoff atmosphere and going to different venues and trying to get to, well, at that point it was Pepsi Center. What is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Ball arena now?
Yeah,
No,
ballerina.
like all those different experiences were so fun and just to be a part of. I was a little freshman at the time when he was a junior, but I was playing solid minutes and it was just so fun to go to those big stadiums and play in the Final Eight game and play in our district championship game. And then unfortunately it got cut short when we made it to the Final Four. They canceled it due to COVID, but all those playing the high stakes, big arenas, I'll never forget it. It was fun.
Hmm.
So we'll just say Mile High won the championship that
Yeah.
year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was the rankings though? I mean, were you was it realistic for you to be competitive in that championship game if you got there?
Yeah. So the out of the four teams left, we were like right there at the top, and the other team that was ranked like similar to us, their best player actually hurt his knee in the Elite Eight game. So, and my dad had scouted all the other teams, and he said we had a great chance like to win the
Yeah.
whole. So we were
Ah,
confident.
sorry to bring up these painful memories, but
It's
It's
fine.
okay.
It's
but
fine.
great success during your guys' time there at Mile High. Blake, you graduated and went to Union College. Braden, at that point, you I believe moved to Dallas. Is that right?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yes. And so tell me about your last couple years at North Dallas Academy.
Oh man, it was a blast. So like at first, like I was a little nervous moving in the middle of high school, but North Dallas, of course, in the Adventist world, is known for their basketball program. And just going from Mile High to North Dallas was a big adjustment, but I feel like I was welcomed and I had some of my best 2 years down in North Dallas and had a lot of fun. So it was great.
Now, you guys mentioned the Southwestern tournament, um, or maybe you didn't, but you mentioned the Union tournament. But I know that you played Braden in the Southwestern. Blake, did you ever get to play there
I played my freshman year, yeah.
your freshman year?
We made the championship for the lower schools.
Okay. That tournament seems like it's the biggest of any of the Adventist tournaments. What was the experience like playing at the Southwestern tournament? Because I've never been there, so I actually don't know that much about it.
Swallow's tournament was one of the most fun and well organized tournaments that I've like been a part of. And just like the atmosphere every game, like it's so intense and the talent there is like it's better than I've ever played before college. So so just being a part of that and the Saturday night games are like nothing else. It was a great experience.
Sounds like a lot of people coming from out of state. Great environment.
Mhm.
I have been to Union College tournament at least once or twice, and uh, I think that's a great tournament too. And you guys went to that every year. What was that experience like going there from Denver? I assume you didn't go there from North Dallas, Braden.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So my freshman year, we had a really good team. We had a point guard, Jaden Harris, who was really good. I don't know if you remember him,
yeah.
but we actually won Union tournament our freshman year. We beat Andrews in the championship. So that was a great experience. And then just from there on out, the tournament got more exposure, more teams started coming. North Dallas came after that, before the last 2 years because of their playoffs. But North Dallas came, FLA came, like it expanded a lot, and like the competition was
Spencerville
great.
back in Maryland. I remember they showed
Yeah,
up one year, and
yeah,
yeah,
they came. So it expanded a lot. So
especially Blake, since you're a few years removed from participating in an academy tournament.
yeah.
What did you take beyond basketball from the tournaments that you participated in as a high schooler?
Well, first off, like just all the friendships you get with the other schools, like while you're in it, you think of them as competition and you're like, oh, I don't like this, like these players because they're good and I'm going against them. But some of those players that I was like being competitive with are my best friends on Union's tournament or Union's team now. So like
Yeah.
Garrett Portney, he was the guy at CVA. I just was like, ah, I don't like Garrett. Like we want to beat CVA, but now like we're best buds, Derek, Dan. I have a ton of friends from it. So just those experiences, being able to relate to each other and then just carry that into college. It's probably the biggest thing.
Braden, I got to ask you, has Blake ever just exploded, like just gone into a rage on anybody on the court? He seems so just calm, mild mannered, meek and mild, but is he pretty composed anytime he
Okay,
steps on the
so
floor, or has he ever just gone off on somebody? I'm just curious.
There was a
Did you ever
few
got a
times
tech?
in high school where my dad would poke the bear a little bit, just to get Blake a little more fired up. And we actually had a state playoff game against one of our rivals, and we weren't playing in the first half at all. My dad poked the bear at Blake, and he ended with 37. Just played angry. But if there's anybody, he doesn't get mad at the other players. If there's anybody that can get under his skin and make him mad, it's me. So so I kind of use that to our advantage to get him going a
So
little
what's
bit.
an example of what you would do?
I mean, I just tell him like like Blake, you're the biggest dude out there. You got to act like it, or like
Yeah.
just like play a little stronger and get to your spots. And he takes it well and starts playing a little better.
The one thing that worked the best, like, would be when my dad would flick my ears. I don't know why, but he would just flick my ears to like get me angry, and then I would just play more aggressively. And I haven't done that in college. Nobody's flicked my ears, but
Oh,
I would
Braden,
say what
maybe you could
works
step
now
into
is
that role here this season.
yeah, Braden
That
needs to
could be
do
my
that.
role.
But I would say what works now to just kind of get me into that zone is just calling me out because I can get kind of like, oh, level-headed, complacent, like, guys, we got this, all this stuff. But if somebody like just calls me out and tells me like, we need you right now, like what Braden was saying, that's when I kind of kick it up a notch, I would say. But I'm still a very mellow player. Like I don't have high and low emotions, I would say.
You guys mentioned, or Braden, you mentioned that Blake's the biggest guy out here in a lot of games. The Essex family is large. I don't know. I can't remember how tall your dad is.
6'5".
6'5".
Yeah.
Braden, you're 6'5" as well. Is that
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yeah. And Blake's 6'9".
Yep.
So it's a large family. Beautiful family. Love you guys. Miss you guys. And
Miss you too, bro.
your dad, man, he set up a years long, pickup basketball arrangement that I've copied and I do here in Sacramento. So I always have love for him and for you guys. So shout out to Todd and Michelle. Awesome people. Great parents. What influence did they have on you just as people and that you feel has translated into making you a better basketball player?
Man, I would just say like my dad and my mom, they've just been such great influences. And then my mom actually played college basketball at Union too and
Oh,
volleyball. So
probably
both
knew
of
that
them
at some
just
point.
yep, both of them just being athletes and just so understanding and involved throughout our lives have just been such amazing support and just we've looked up to them our whole lives. So just having them in our corners and throughout the way has just been amazing.
Yeah, I would add like with my mom, she's like me. She's like level-headed, mellow. She always taught me to not get too high with the highs, not get too low with the lows. And that's something the Union team says all the time. So I hear it all the time. And then for my dad specifically, like just he's helped me with my mentality. Like when things aren't going my way, like to keep my head up. And then he always mentions the phrase pressure's a privilege. Like just having that in the back of your mind, like oh, if you're in a high stakes game, like that's a privilege to be there. Like don't get too cocky about it or don't like get too low about it. Like just embrace everything and have fun no matter what you're doing. So
Great wisdom.
mhm.
Braden, you are always so supportive of your older brother. I mean, anytime we've communicated, or he's had a highlight posted, I mean, you're excited for him. How proud of you are of your big brother Blake?
Man, my whole life I've just looked up to Blake. And like I've never thought of it as being in his shadow. Like we've never like that's not been our relationship. Like we're each other's biggest fans, you know. And when I was coming to Union, he was the one wanting me to come so bad. So like we're just each other's biggest fans and we support each other throughout. And when I see him succeed, it makes me happy. So that's why we cheer for each other and just looked up to him my whole life. So it's been good seeing him succeed.
Blake, what has it meant for you? How special is it for you to have your brother on your team in college now?
Oh, it's great. I still remember him as a little freshman at Mile High coming in and just being that knockdown shooter for us. Like he contributed so much then, and then seeing his game grow in North Dallas, like I just would watch all of his high school games and be like, I want to play with him again. Like the brother chemistry thing is real. Like,
Hmm.
you kind of just have that intuition, like how each other are gonna play. So just being able to like play with him again has been so awesome, amazing, and I can't wait to keep doing it these next year and a half. So
What were some of your battles like in at the on the court at the Essex household, one on one growing up?
Oh, I mean, it's very competitive, some blood, sweat, and tears for sure. I would say Braden, so I'm a post player. So I'm more of like the back to the basket, like back him down, like play dirty. Braden is definitely a one-on-one, like create his own shot, like dribble. So it kind of depends what drill we're doing, I would say. But if it's one-on-one, he's definitely gonna take me, I would say. He he snatched my ankles a few times for sure.
It's tough to go against someone who's always bigger than you. So I'm sure that was a big help for you growing up.
Yeah, like having Blake, like we play so much and getting used to him defending, like if I can get my shot off over Blake, I can get it off over anybody. So just going against Blake and trying different moves and different one-on-one drills, like it's helped so much. So we make each other better, pushing each other.
Braden, you mentioned what you say to Blake in games. Now, Blake, you have your brother here on your team this year. What are you telling him in games?
Oh, I mean, so this year, like being a freshman, trying to figure out like where he fits on the team and like what his role is and stuff. I've just seen the type of player he is outside of just like at Union. So I'm very confident in his abilities. So the biggest thing I've tried to do so far is just like get his confidence up, like get him more comfortable. So I tell him all the time, like if you catch it, like just catch and shoot, make quick decisions, like don't second guess yourself because then it allows the defense to catch up. So I'd say right now it's really just getting him confident in his own game and just getting used to that speed of college basketball right now.
Yeah, for sure. And having somebody be like, "Hey, when you catch it, shoot it," and having that confidence that it's gonna go in makes you feel better as a shooter, and just overall you want to play a little harder and just overall play confident, and just having that from one of your better players is amazing. So
That's fantastic. Yeah. There's nothing like motivation of you have to shoot the shot. We need you to shoot this shot. I'm a Sacramento Kings fan here in Sacramento, and Keegan Murray has been reluctant to shoot threes, even though I think he broke either the Kings rookie record or the
it was
NBA
the
record,
league.
I think, right? Yeah, for threes in
Yeah,
his rookie season. So Coach Mike Brown is like, I'm gonna pull you out if you don't take the three, right? So that's huge to
yeah.
have that confidence from behind. Yeah.
been great.
So what, Braden, for you, what has been the biggest adjustment going from high school to college basketball?
I mean, yeah, I'd say like the two main things are like how much more physical it is. And then, yeah, just the physical aspect and then the mental aspect is totally different in college, and like learning different rotations and just how an offense should flow. Like the mental side of it, I feel like I've adjusted pretty well to that just because I've been around basketball my entire life, like you were saying. But then just the physical aspect, you got to get in the gym more and you got to play stronger. You got to, like, nothing's easy in college. So the physical and mental has been the two biggest adjustments.
And Blake described you as being able to create your own shot and being a shooter. Is that pretty much where you're at? You're out on the wing usually, and Blake is kind of the anchor in the middle.
Yeah. I'm like I feed it into Blake from the wing, entry passer, and then yeah, I like to play on the wing, and Blake's a post player, and it's nice that we don't play the same position and we can complement each other
Right.
rather than
That is fun.
conflict. So
You're not just waiting behind him to get in. Yeah, you can play
exactly.
together. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Well, I've been able to watch a couple of your games this year, and you have great guards, some shooters. How has the season gone from what your expectation was coming into from the off season?
So just this offseason, we had a great record last year. I'm pretty sure you've talked about it on a podcast. We were one of the two Adventist teams to have over 500 records. So we had a great record. We only had one person graduate, and then we had a couple good freshmen coming in, such as Braden. So our expectations were high, and we believe that we should be winning a lot of our games, be very competitive. And before last off season, Coach Drew just mentioned to the team, he was like, "You guys saw what happened with UNC. They made the championship game in March Madness, and then the next year they didn't even make the tournament." So he just was encouraging us, like, don't let that happen. Stay hungry. Come into every game like with that hunger, that good mentality. And I feel like we've done that. We've just had a little bit of ups and downs. We're 3-5 right now going into the second semester, and we could easily be 6-5
Yeah,
or
6-2. Yeah,
6-2, whatever.
Yeah.
So like I feel
And
I'm confident going into this next semester.
you guys, Union College, soon to be university, by the way, for everybody out there. Are you? By the way, are you excited about that name change, or do you care? Or
I'm just glad they kept Union in the name because they were throwing out some options that didn't have Union.
oh,
So
really? Like
yeah,
what?
like Prescott University, Mid America Adventist University.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they kept Union for sure.
More simple. I'm glad they.
Interesting. I hadn't heard that. Well, yeah, Union Adventist University next year, right?
Yep,
Yep.
in May.
Union is independent, basically, correct, and then plays as a part of the USCAA for the national championship, national tournament. I can't
We're
recall.
right now we're part of the ACCA. I can't remember what it
ACCA.
exactly
Okay.
stands for, but it's like Athletic Christian College Association, I think.
Okay.
And we're actively trying to get into the NCCAA, which is the National Christian College Athletic Association.
Got it. Okay. And so are most of the schools you're playing a part of ACCA, or is that more of a like national tournament at the end of the season?
Most of the teams we play are actually part of NCCAA, which
Okay.
is why we're trying to join the league
Yeah.
because we play them already.
Yeah.
And the tournament we go to, we go to the ACCA tournament. There's about like 6 to 8 teams. And then there's a bigger tournament of the NCCAA teams like after, which is what we're trying to join. So
Got it.
a little bit of a mixture.
So for people that maybe aren't familiar with, that association and with Union College, what is the competition like? I mean, what are the sizes of these teams and these players that you're playing against? What is the skill level? How would you describe it?
I mean, some people may be like, "Oh, that level of basketball, you don't take it serious." But at this point, if you're playing college basketball, you're a good basketball player. So the level is that everybody can shoot, everybody's got strength, every team is well coached. So as far as the competition and the skill level, I mean, it's definitely been a step up from high school, and it's really competitive. So
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that's playing at college, I don't care where it is, if you're playing at a junior college, if you're playing for, USCCA, I always get them mixed up. NCCAA, whatever all these different associations are, like you're a young adult, you're fast, you can shoot most likely.
Yeah.
Whether it's NAI, NCAA, whatever, people can play at any level. And, even talking to people that played in NAI school, well, there's lots of NCAA talent that comes to the NAI level, and that there's NAI level talent at ACCA as well. So great players. They're all men at this point physically. Yeah. So absolutely. Sorry, you're going to say something, Blake.
No, I just was going to say, like Braden mentioned, oh, you're the biggest, baddest guy on the court. All these teams we play have people the same size as me. So it's not like we're just overpowering and like we have way more height and all this stuff. Like we play.
And you're not even the tallest guy in your team, right?
Yeah, no, we have a 7-footer actually. Yeah, from Africa. So yeah, I'm not the tallest guy. Like we play equal competition to us. So it's been nice being competitive in all our games that we've had. So
if people have never been inside the Union College / University Thunderdome, what is the experience like when that place is rocking?
When the Thunderdome has good energy, I mean, there's no other gym like it. It's a staple on the Union campus. It's been there for over 100 years or something like that. And it's just one of the best places to be on a Saturday night game with the whole arena filled. It's one of the best places to be.
I think it's a great name too. I think it's one of the best names in Adventist basketball. I put out a poll a while back on Instagram. I think there's only 4 of our schools that have nicknames for their gyms. Thunderdome at Union, the Covered Wagon at PUC, my alma mater. I think that one is, creative. Fits in with the Pioneers mascot. We have the Pit at Washington Adventist University, and then we have the Lion's Den. People voted the Lion's Den as the best gym name, but
that was a good gym. I've been there before, so it was fun.
So as you look forward through the rest of this season, what is your expectation based off of how the team has been gelling and progressing? It's I think for any team, you're not expecting to win all of your games. You have tough. You try to make your schedule tough, especially in the beginning of the season. As you're progressing, what is your expectation heading towards the end of the season and potentially a tournament?
So I would say our expectation now is to just keep building off of like the chemistry we've been growing this first semester. Like we've had a lot of hard games, like you've said. We've scheduled those tougher teams to start with and a lot of road games. So we kind of get a stretch here the second semester of a lot of home games, a lot of people in our league specifically. So just kind of showing people that like we're here to be competitive, we're here to stay and like to defend our home court. That's the expectation right now.
And I would say I'm just ecstatic right now. Just I'm missing playing basketball in college. We've been off for 3 weeks or so, and I'm just ready to go back and just get to work. And like Blake said, like the first semester we've worked on our chemistry and like gelling as a team. So we're gonna come second semester just ready to play. And we have an Adventist tournament right around the corner that we're really excited for to go have some fun.
Yeah, we're recording this during Christmas break. It's January 2024 now. Talk about that tournament. Who's going to be there? When is it?
Yeah, so the three main Adventist teams that come are SWAU, Andrews, and Union, and they've done it consistently the last 2 years, and it's always really competitive. Like last year, SWAU beat Union, then
Andrews beat
Andrews
SWAU,
beat SWAU,
and then we beat Andrews.
So it's like
Oh,
it's very
wow.
competitive, and all the games are really close. So now that it's being hosted at Union, and we're gonna have a game against Andrews on a Saturday night, it's gonna be really fun. The energy should be good.
Did you mention the date?
It's MLK weekend,
Okay.
so the January 11th to the 13th or something like that.
Okay. So coming up.
Yep.
Well, man, we got to see if we can get some correspondence, some Adventist Hoops correspondence covering those games. That's exciting. So you don't get to play each team?
So we play, yeah, every team plays each other. So
Okay.
our schedule, we're playing SWAU on Friday,
Okay.
like
Okay.
afternoon, and then we play Andrews, and then on Saturday night, and then we play a team from Illinois that is in the same league as Andrews that wanted to come down. We're playing them on Sunday, and each team will play each other. The girls' teams are playing as well. So
Nice. Awesome. Well, that's exciting. That'll be fun to look forward to. So we'll be sure to see how we can cover that. You mentioned a team from Illinois. You guys play teams, I believe, in Missouri and, just all across. What's the travel like for Union College basketball?
So we try to keep it like that. Missouri is our furthest trip, which it's like 6 hours. So we go up to 6 hours for the day trips. It's in the bus, so we get back at like 2 a.m. That's probably the longest. They're normally around like 3 hours is probably the average.
I tried to do an Instagram live with Coach Drew on the way back from that game, I think, and you were probably in cornfields with no reception. It didn't really work out, but I was like, so you guys like me and my old mind, and at this point, I'm like, so you guys like spending the night? And he's like, no, they got to get back for school the next day. What has the transition been like for you, Braden, this year to, not only are you playing basketball, lots of practice, all this travel, late nights, how are you balancing all of that with school?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you get back at 2 a.m. and have to go to an 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock class. But coming to Union and being doing more of the generals and just the starter level classes, I've just adjusted well to that, and they haven't been too challenging out the gate. So I personally love the away games just because I have a bunch of fun and hanging out with the team. But getting back late and waking up early is a bit of a challenge, but I love it.
Yeah, some of those rides going to games or back home, especially from games, are some of the most fun times. We'll just leave it at that. Crazy stuff can happen. People, are like they're tired and they're just acting crazy, but it's a lot of fun. That's the things that you'll remember after these years are done. So for you guys, as you are making your way through this season, what has been the biggest thing that you, and not just this season, but Blake, for the last couple of years, what has been the biggest thing that you have learned or taken or appreciate about Coach Mekelburg?
Oh man, I appreciate him so much. Like, growing up, I've had my dad as my coach all the way up until college, and that's been great. Like, he knows how to push my buttons. He's a very emotional coach, like puts his heart and soul into it. But coming into college and having Coach Drew, he's a very analytical guy. Like, he knows the numbers. He has a bunch of plays for us. So just having somebody that's that structured has been great. Like, we're always well prepared for each game. He scouts every team like very in depth. So he has a great scouting report. And I would say the main thing that he's helped teach me outside of basketball, these past few years is probably just that it's a game. Don't let a game affect how like you live your life outside of it. So just not allowing the bad games and the bad days to like negatively affect everything else in your life. Just kind of to isolate it, and you like care about it when you're playing it, but to isolate it for afterwards is probably the biggest thing he's taught me.
Now, what are you guys studying? Oh, go ahead, Braden, if you're going to say something.
Well, I was just gonna say some real quick about Coach Drew too. Is like I've only been here first semester and it's been a short time, but like Coach Drew is very good on like the personal aspect. Like after a game, his office is always open if you want to go watch film, and he sat down with both of us just one on one, talking about the game, talking about our roles on the team, watching film and going through it, and he's very like willing to like thrive in that side of building relationships. So he's been great.
I got to talk to him back in episode 3, I believe, and he really seems to love coaching. I mean, he loves the strategy, the teaching aspect of it. He just seems to eat it up, and he's busy because he's also the athletic director, but it seems like he really loves it and spends a lot of extra time probably that no one sees, studying and learning and growing himself as a coach. So,
Sure.
yeah, I was curious what you guys are studying.
But I'm studying business right now, and I'm focusing on management and finance.
Yeah, I'm business as well, and then I'm emphasizing in management, accounting, and finance.
Fantastic. Well, you certainly have some time, Blake, but is there any ideas that you have floating around for what you're going to do after this next year?
Well, just kind of going through my head right now, I've done an internship at the company my dad works for, and like our family friends own it. I've done an internship there in the finance department the last 2 summers. So I've kind of integrated into that. I've known how it works, and they've expressed interest in hiring me afterwards. So
Awesome.
that's kind of where my head's at right now, but
Yeah.
who knows? I think the future could change.
What have you guys taken from your experiences in basketball, whether it's high school, college, that you think translates into the real world in life and in business for the future?
I'd say like the leadership aspect is like the biggest, like being captain of different teams and just learning how to work as a team. Like people, that's like the generic answer, but people don't understand like how beneficial it is to know how to effectively work together and accomplish something. So in sports, that's the main basis of it. And in life and in work, it goes the same way, working together with different people.
Yeah, I would add like that's the best example, the leadership aspect of it, but also just working through adversity, like playing in basketball, that things aren't going to go your way and you have to figure out how to get through them. So bringing that into the workspace as well when something doesn't go the way you expect it, like just being able to work through that is probably another thing.
And you just have bad days sometimes, right? Like no matter how good you are or how much time you practice, sometimes the ball is just not going through the hoop, and that also happens in life. Sometimes stuff is out of your control, and how do you handle it? How do you handle the adversity? And yeah, I just love that aspect. I think that that's one of the reasons why I've continued. I mean, I just love basketball, but continued to coach and be involved in the game, with Sacramento Adventist Academy, where I'm at here, is because it's so beneficial to all the kids that are coming through, and yeah, you can tell. I think someone that has played sports by you're not as easily phased when something happens, right? Because you've been through a really heated moment already, probably dozens or hundreds of times if you've played all the way through college. So
Yeah,
when you
for sure.
think about kids that are watching this, including my team here in Sacramento, a middle school team, we got our first game today. What advice do you have for your fellow Adventist basketball players that, you've been in their shoes, whether it was middle school, high school? What advice do you have for them as they continue on their basketball journey? And what advice do you have to help them get to the next level if that's something that they want to do?
I mean, I would say something that's helped me is just like trying your hardest, always putting your best into it, which means like putting in those hours outside of practice and to study the game either by watching it or going out in your driveway and putting up shots or just practicing dribbling, just putting in that extra work to get yourself the most prepared. And then in regards to being an Adventist hooper specifically, like just holding yourself to that standard of on the court of just like upholding Jesus's like attitude and like what he would do on the court and just being kind to everybody and just showing all your opponents like, oh, there's something different about this guy, or this girl, like just showing that through your play style and outside of the court as well.
Yeah, that's really key and important. And to go along with that, what I would say is just have fun, because we spend too much time and we play too much basketball to not enjoy it. So just fall in love with the game, focus on your craft, and just like focus on the little things and have fun doing it. And that's positive attitude will go a long ways. So.
Great advice. Great advice. One last question for you guys. Well, maybe two. As you think about your lives and how integral basketball has been, what would you say, what does basketball mean to you?
It's a great question. Yeah, I'll go. Basketball has just meant so much to me. It's helped me build lifelong relationships with teammates, coaches, and it's just been a part of my life. And I honestly don't know where I'd be without it. And it's been important, to have a life balance, keep God first, family and friends, but having basketball right along the way, just throughout life, has just been amazing. I mean, it's impacted my life in more ways than I can mention, but it's just been great.
Yeah, I would say basketball to me is a passion. It's a lifestyle. Like it affects everything. It's been great to learn life lessons through it, to get those relationships with my now lifelong friends through playing basketball with them. It's been nice to just have basketball as a rock. Like you can always count on it. You can always go shoot in the gym, get some shots up, clear your head if you've had a bad day. It's never gonna waver. It'll always be there for you. So it's just a nice like backbone to rely on.
Well said. You guys have any suggestions for Adventist hoops? Any ideas you want to lay on me?
I think
any feedback?
I think you're doing a great job. I'm not on Instagram anymore, so I haven't seen the most recent stuff, but Braden shows me, and like your page has grown dramatically, which is awesome. It's nice to see.
I would say I remember when Adventist Hoops was at 10 followers, and I saw it and I was just like, what is this? But then we talked and I was like, okay, I remember. Good family friends go way back. And then to see Adventist Hoops go from 10 followers to, I looked at it this morning, like 1,300 followers. Like just to see people, just like the love for Adventist basketball and just how it's grown. I've loved seeing that. And then one thing I did want to say on this podcast was that people don't always know this, but the runner of Adventist Hoops, Mr. Dustin Comm, is one of the better Adventist basketball players out there. So not everybody knows that.
Not about me. Thanks a lot, you guys. I appreciate your feedback there. Shout out Todd Essex, Detroit Lions, playoff bound. Exciting. Hey, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it, and nothing but the best to you guys for the rest of the way in your season.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.